What's up, guys and gals? Your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the next piece of One Piece, chapter 1045, coming to us early, entitled Next Level, and right out of the gate, I enjoyed the chapter. However, we need to do a tiny little lesson, just a tiny little tangent, wee bit, before we actually get on with the chapter. Because I really enjoyed the chapter. I know some people are going to hate this chapter, and I mean, well, then you haven't liked One Piece for a long, long time. But anyways, besides that, let's just go on with the little tangent, the little lesson first. Because after reading the chapter a couple of times, and I have it pulled up right here, I stupidly decided to go on Reddit, Discord, YouTube comment sections. Braga is streaming as we speak, and I was really enjoying that. So once his reaction was done, I said, yep, gonna do my review. Here's the thing. I've noticed that a lot of the internet doesn't know what one of these are. What is this, you ask? Oh, well, some really cute lynxes, but, or bobcats, I'm not sure. But either way, one's got the tufts on the... Anyways, point of the matter is, this is called a calendar. Crazy thing, I know. It's called a calendar. And looking at the computer clock and stuff, just so I'm not crazy or anything, how we use a calendar, and I really think that the internet needs to see this, is, well, you flip to the month, right? And we're in the month of March, so I don't know how well this will show up on the camera. It's a little dark in here. But you flip to the month, you see each month is printed, and then you find the corresponding date and the day it is. So it's the third month, and it's the 31st, and it's right down there, and it's a Thursday. Go figure. Still in most of the known world, it's about 7:30 here in Atlantic Standard Time, meaning Eastern Standard Time is about 6:30. That's a common one, right? So for most of the world, it's still Thursday, March 31st. And when the RAWs came out, when the scans came out before the translation, it was March 31st into March 30th for some of the world, okay? Now this crazy concept has been going around that this is a fake chapter. And the entire basis for this being a fake chapter, or just a bunch of trolls because the internet, is due to the fact that they believe that today is this day, this crazy day right up here, April 1st. It's an April Fool's joke. Now, I'm not going to tell anybody how to celebrate their holidays. I'm not going to tell anybody that you can't have Valentine's Day dinner in July. I'm not going to tell anybody that they can't have Santa Claus coming down the chimney, in March. I'm not going to tell anybody that. But I am going to say that traditionally speaking, it doesn't hit as hard. Santa Claus on a beach does not hit as hard as a nice white Christmas. Know what I'm saying? So in the same sense, here's the deal. You ever forget, I'll put it in the best perspective I can. How many of you are in a relationship, right? And what's the key to a happy relationship, especially for a woman? ABC, anniversary, birthday, Christmas. Now some of you know that rule for the more not safe for work crowd, or so to speak, as the internet likes to say. But generally speaking, these are the 3 dates you do not forget to do something for your wife, girlfriend, whatever. And at the end of the day, if you forget, guess what? It doesn't matter if you make it up the next day. They count a 24-hour period. Just ask them. If you forget that anniversary by 24 hours, if that clock hits 12:01, you are in the doghouse, my friend. You done fucked up. So I'm going to go on the waifu side of things. I'm going to go on the wife side of things and say, it's not April 1st. You can't have a preemptive or a late April Fool's joke. If it doesn't land on April 1st, it's not an April Fool's joke. Learn how to read a calendar, people. That's my tangent. Let's get on with the chapter, because a lot of haters for my condescending attitude for this one, and a lot of people are going to hate the fact that if you don't like this chapter, you never liked Luffy or One Piece or the Power System to begin with. I'm going to say it straight up, because we got Bugs D. Bunny up in here, and it makes total sense. It makes total sense, and I'll tell you why. Anybody remember, literally an arc ago? I can go back because I was around when One Piece started, right? I'm freaking old. But anybody remember the whole, just last arc, where Luffy defeated a top-tier member of a Yonko crew by gluttoning himself on biscuits? Anybody remember that he stalemated one of the most powerful crews in the world's top fighters by stuffing his face and getting fat? Anybody remember that? That was just last arc, okay? That was literally just last arc. That's not manga logic, that's goofy. That's been Luffy the Goof, has been this way since the very first arc. He's always done ridiculous things. He did them back in Orange Town. He did them in Arlong Park. Well, not so much Arlong Park itself, but in all these different spots, right? Luffy has always widened himself, gone flat as a pancake. Yes, Luffy has been more and more serious because the story has developed and things have gotten more and more serious. But Thriller Bark was goofy. Punk had, not so much Punk, well, Punk Hazard was a little goofy at times, but in Dressrosa, the whole Usopp scaring face, you know? Usopp, Chopper, and Luffy have always been absolutely goofy. And Luffy, with his rubber powers, has been stretching himself, filling himself up with water, blowing himself up like a balloon. This is nothing new. Him being absolutely Toon World about this has been a little suspect, to say the least. Has always been very satire comedy since the beginning of the series. Just go back and read some early One Piece. And the whole, ha ha, I'm a rubber boy, ha 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 ha, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, just remember that stuff, you know? Like right here, technically speaking, okay, so King of Lightning was correct in the sense that when he reacted, he said basically Luffy will be able to grow his body to the size of a giant or bigger because of the size of the arm. There's nothing stopping him from blowing up his entire body at that size. And he does that this chapter. Well, that's within the rounds. That's been around. If you don't like that, well, that's been around since Gear 3rd. So do you not like Gear 3rd? He's got perfect Gear 3rd ability now. It's no different than people arm him and hockey up their fists, but Virgo proved he could arm him and hockey up your entire body. Was that goofy? No. So why is this any goofy? Because people are going to complain about that. I guarantee you they will. But it makes total sense. He's now awakened. Kaido confirmed this at the beginning of the chapter. Okay, you're awakened, but you're more along the lines of a zone fruit. Luffy is still using the moniker Gumma Gumma no Mi. Definitely go check out my video on the Gumma Gumma no Mi theory as to why Luffy doesn't know it's the Hito Hito no Mi. Once again, I'm not going to bore you with that tangent here. We already talked about that in the last stream, and I made a whole video about that. So definitely go check those out if you care about my thoughts there. But here, he's not doing anything really outside the lines. He's doing it, Oda's showcasing it for a more comedic effect, and it's no different than Nami beating Zoro Black and Blue. It's become, as Kaido puts it, this is more like one of those friggin', you know, picture books. Like the will has been sort of, the reality has been a little distorted around him, but what has he actually done that's outside the lines? As I said, go back. My best example, my most current example is the fact that he ate, got fat, created a whole new Gear 4th. I know people call Tank Man a new form. No, to me, that shit is Bound Man, and he ate he just got fat. He ate too much, so Bound Man became Tank Man. That has always been my theory, is we never saw another Tank Man. He only became Tank Man when he was in Gear 4th, which we didn't know there were other forms really at the time. There was Gear 4th. He turned into Gear 4th. Fought Cracker. Next time we jump back, he's eaten too many crackers. He got so bloated and fat that he turned into Tank Man. You know, that's always been my call because we never saw any other instance where he used real Tank Man. So I'm a little still suspect about that. But that's just a theory. But regardless of this thing, that was absolutely ridiculous. That was goofy as hell too. That was Bugs Bunny. That was Looney Tunes logic. That was Rubber House Animation logic. Tom and Jerry. It still works. Like, what has Luffy actually done in this chapter? You know, he has been transforming just like an Awakened Zone can do, and Kaido confirms this. He is transforming the environment around him into rubber. He's lifting up the things, he's doing his own body, and he's turning Kaido into rubber too, using the balloon stuff. But that makes total sense too, because Kaido is he's in the close proximity in the environment, so why couldn't he turn his... We've seen this done by other Devil Fruit users before, so why couldn't he use the ability of his awakened powers to affect the area around them, right? There's no reason why he can't do that. So the whole Kaido balloon thing makes total sense. Then he's eaten by Kaido, blah, blah, blah. All right, the eye hole thing is funny, right? Okay, there's a little bit of goofiness going on, and I know some people are not going to really enjoy his arms going through the eye sockets, but remember, right now, Kaido could be considered a part of the environment. Luffy is inside Kaido, so Kaido has become part of his environment. So he's just molding the environment around him in the sense that it's rubber. So he's bending the eyes out and stuff like that, right? Once again, the eyeball popping out of the head thing could be more for comedic effect sort of idea. It seems a little literal, but, whatever. It's all goofy. He becomes giant here. The giant makes total sense. It's just basically the pinnacle of Gear 3rd on steroids, which it's Gear 5th. It's been 2 gears since. It's about time he pulled a stunt like that, right? Kaido's still giving him a huge run for his money. The jump rope thing is fine. He takes a blast breath. It does freaking hurt him. And then he manages to boom, and he does that sort of thing. He does the Sonic the Hedgehog spin wheels and runs on air sort of idea. Sure, why not? Why not? I mean, if Zoro can take his swords and go blast, blast, blast to triple jump his way back to the island, why can't Luffy in Gear 5th move, once again, rubber, friction, once again, Diabo Jambe people, anybody? If he's able to do the whole rubber logic thing to friggin', create friction, boom, he's making a fire path on the air, sure, why not? And once again, Kaido is no slouch here. He's still beating the crap out of Luffy in a lot of regards, and halfway through the chapter, well, actually to the 3/4 mark, when he's beating them down, Luffy does actually, after saying like, "Oh, I'm done. Like, I'm far from done. I'm still gonna whoop your ass," sort of idea. And Kaido's like, you're doing really well, kid, but you're still half dead. And he's like, "You can't beat me." And he's like, "Nah, I can do this. And he loses Gear 5th, and we're like, "Oh shit, we knew there was gonna be detrimental." Like, not only the fact that he was already beaten and bloodied when he turned Gear 5th. Now, once again, I'm still not totally convinced. I know a lot of YouTubers are and stuff like that, and a lot of people are, that he actually legit died. He died. But he died in the sense that his heart stopped for a few seconds. In that regard, is he clinically dead sort of idea? Yeah, but did he die? I'm still on the fence about that one. I know most people are saying he died and then he was brought back to life sort of idea. That's more like he got CPR. Like, do you consider that being... It depends. Were you actually truly dead? Because CPR can't bring a real dead person back to life. If they're dead, they're dead. You can't CPR someone back to life if they're dead. Well, there's an argument for that. Yeah, technically. Oh, he was dead for 2 minutes and I brought him back. Yeah, we'll bring someone back after 24 hours. Good fucking luck, right? So there's a bit of a threshold there that I'm still not buying. But either way, it doesn't matter. The point of the matter is he was on death's door to begin with. And at the end of the day here, he's been using Gear 5th, a brand new gear, super powered to fuck, the pinnacle of his devil fruit, from what we understand, and I believe it truly is. I don't think Luffy's getting a Gear 6th or anything like that. I think Gear 5th, he might power up Gear 5th in some way, but Gear 5th is going to be his final power up, I believe. And right here, he's out of energy. He's done. And he says it beat, we have the more comedic moments, but Kaido is freaking hurt. Kaido's back in his hybrid form. He's absolutely hurt. He's really hurt, and he's just like, huff, huff, huff. Man, this sucks. But so they're both talking like, "I'm gonna beat you. Nah, you're gonna die first. You're gonna croak," And then Kaido goes on to speech all about like songs will be sung about how well you guys, valiantly fought in this battle, sort of idea. And then Luffy destroys Kaido's concept about death right here. Not that Kaido really acknowledges this, but he goes, "Who cares about being because when you're dead, all that sticks around is your bones. There's nothing else that matters. When you're dead, you're dead. Who cares what people say about you after you're gone? You're dead. You're just a pile of bones at that point." So Luffy totally disagreeing with Kaido's idea that death completes a person. Luffy is much more I live in the moment, while Kaido's building a legacy. Momo and Yamato, by the way, have been watching this battle this entire time. They're actually right there watching the battle. Luffy has this great speech, and I was surprised at this, but we know that Luffy has done this before. So if people are going to complain about this, he has done this so many times throughout the series. He has done this so many times when he shouldn't have been able to get back up. I mean, look no farther than Impel Down. Look no farther than Marineford. He has been he has been cutting his life short for so long, for a long ass time, right? And even Momo acknowledges that his voice is fading very quickly, but Luffy then gets back up and he turns Gear 5th, so he knows how to use it at will now. He turns Gear 5th back on, and he says, I'm not done yet. Momo, Tama, Kinemon, Pedro, big mention of the Willow P right there, the one that stayed dead. And then Kaido's just like, hey, you're really going to kill yourself this time. You can't just keep this up. This power might be crazy, but you're going to die, And so once again, same with what Ivankov said, same with what other people have told Luffy in the past, that you can't keep doing this. Chopper's told him. Many people have told Luffy he's cutting his lifespan over and over and over by pushing himself way beyond the natural limits. And once again, we can assume here that Luffy, this might be why maybe Roger went Conqueror's Haki too great, and that's why he, maybe that's the disease. Too much Conqueror's Haki affected his heart. Who knows? But anyways, this seems to be the case, and then he calls upon the drums again. Get loud again, heartbeat. We hear the doom da da da, doom da da da, doom da da da, doom da da da. And he says, also, after everything I've been through to this point, do you think that I'm afraid of death? Now, once again, depending on the manga, there's always a reason. Like some people are like, no, fear of death is the ultimate. You have to fear death. Or no, never fear death, never back down. Depending on the message you go with. In this case, Luffy just says, death doesn't scare me because, then it's over. If I die, then, what's to be scared of at the end of that? I tried my best. As long as I keep going and try my best, I'm not going to be able to regret it, because when I'm dead, I'm dead. He's very Lutheran about this. He's very, when you die, you're dead. I don't think Luffy exactly believes in an afterlife, which controversial considering he's got Brook on his goddamn crew. But then again, that's the psychology of Luffy. I doubt he's talked to Brook like, so, how was dying the first time, by the way? Did he go anywhere? Did you meet anybody? Like, what's the deal? I'm sure Luffy's not the one asking those important questions. So anyways, he turns Gear 5th back on, and of course, the some of the goofiness once again continues. The Looney Tunes, Rubber House animation stuff continues, but it's not outside of the reasoning. He is fully made of rubber. He's the master of rubber now. So when Kaido hits him with the club, right? When he hits him with the Kanabo, fucking Luffy's whole face just takes, on the appearance of the Kanabo because it just stretches. Ouch, that hurts. When he gets knocked down, he bends the environment around him to help take the blow of, cushion the blow. When Kaido smacks down his rubber body, the earth bends like rubber to him, like cushioning him. So everything's cushioning. He acknowledges, though, with the Haki, we can assume that Conqueror's Haki is still involved, Armament Haki is still involved. We can assume that it's still happening because, as Luffy claims, this still hurts. Like, the Boro Breath hurt, the Kanabo is hurting him. He's still being hurt by these attacks. It's just clearly he's negating a hell of a lot of the damage, I would assume. But it's taking a lot of stamina for him to keep Gear 5th as well. Now, this is where he's smacking Kaido back, and a big mention here, because we're not seeing the lightning bolts, so it's good that it's explained, that Luffy has completely coated his body in both Conqueror's and Armament Haki. So he's got both. He's like, boom, ready to go. So, and also 2 confirmations from both Momonosuke, Yamato, and also Kaido himself, that this, even though the colorings were really cool, and I saw some with some white, this is a pure white transformation. So his hair, the clouds, the clothes, everything's going to be glowing white. It's going to be more Goku Ultra Instinct look. A lot of people were going with the fiery, with the Super Saiyan hair, with the yellow and stuff. Sun God Nika, they were doing sun colors, oranges and yellows and reds. But apparently it's a pure white one. But then again, pure white fire, it works. So, okay, really cool. I'm really glad that Nika is still, all of a sudden Luffy, who's already had fire powers in the past, to the Ace and stuff, explains a little bit more here, but I'm glad that this isn't a new set of powers, because that would bother me. That would break it a little bit for me, but the fact that he's using the most ridiculous fruit, one of the most ridiculous fruits next to the Jacket Nomi, and now he's doing it a little more Looney Tunes than before. He's been Looney Tuning his way through victories for 25 years, guys. He really has. Seriously, go back, read One Piece. Look at the ridiculousness and the way that Luffy treats his body, and his opponents go like, what the hell is this shit? It's seriously, it's been Looney Tunes since its inception. It always has been. Oda just doubled down on Toon World. You know, he's played Toon World, and now it's like boom, it's time for the Blue Eyes Toon Dragon. That's all that's happening. He's just double downing on his tunes. So it works. Kaido acknowledges that he won't be taken down, but he's never seen anything like this ability. He gets punched in the face. At first it looks like the fist went right through him because it did, but it just, once again, the properties of rubber. When he touches Kaido, Kaido also becomes part of the environment. This is the way I'm taking it anyways, and turned it into rubber. We see the Conqueror's Hockey added to it, so it's definitely hurting him, and it's just like boing, you know, a Tom and Jerry punch. And completely knocks Kaido down. Kaido is finally on his back. He's on his ass. And Luffy just says, I'm having the time of my life, Kaido. So, big things here to take away. I really like the chapter once again. If this was going to be an April Fool's chapter, guys, it would have been Zoro coming up to the roof and killing Kaido or something. You know what I mean? It would have been absolutely out to lunch. It wouldn't have even been the Kaido fight. You know what I mean? Something like that. Something ridiculous would have happened. You know, this is not ridiculous. This is totally, well, it is ridiculous because it's One Piece. But it's totally within the realm of One Piece. This is totally, Luffy has always fought in the most goofy style of almost any main character in manga. That's almost a fact. I can't think of anybody who fights so goofy, you know? Granted, I'm sure there are, but I don't read too many full-on comedy series. But it's sort of reminding me of the Kanika Man Legacy. You know, it sort of reminded me of the ridiculousness of that at times. You know what I mean? Because that was very toonish. That was very out to lunch sometimes. And you know, this manga is 25 years old. It's from a different era. And once again, I've been around since the beginning of One Piece, and I can tell you right now, there was a reason that I didn't pick up, because I can say I've been around since the beginning, but I didn't start following One Piece until almost well into, Christ, it was before the time skip. I've been following it since probably around late Alabasta, maybe post Alabasta. But before then, we had the 4Kids dub, and people like to blame the 4Kids dub for people being turned off of One Piece. It wasn't that. I watched all the 4Kids shows. The Fox Kids, the Fox Box. I was watching all the 4Kids shows. YTV. I watched all that stuff. I like most of the 4Kids actors. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a perfectly done 4Kids dub. I wouldn't have any other voice actors do that, right? Pokemon was another one. 4Kids was not the enemy like people seem to remember. They did some bad censorships and blah, 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 but they were not that bad. Most of their series were quite successful. And One Piece is no exception to that rule, except for the fact that, of course, heavily censored, sure, but that wasn't the problem. When I was growing up as a kid, Luffy was too goofy for me. When I watched it as a kid, I was into, okay, Agumon, Greymon, you know, War Greymon, okay? Pikachu, Charizard, you know, Mewtwo, okay. Then we had, you know, well, we had Sonic the Hedgehog, and we had Vision Escaflowne, we had Inuyasha, we had some badasses. I mean, this is before, you know, certain things like Bleach and Naruto were a little later. But at the end of the day, I dropped One Piece due to the fact that I wanted to follow Zoro. I was like, why is this rubber kid? This is so ridiculous. This is so goofy. He's made of rubber and spring, bam, gum, no pistol and all that stuff. You know, gum pistol and stuff. Gum rocket, and you know, him blowing himself up like a balloon and all this stuff. The cannonball doing it was. I remember being a kid and thinking that this was Bugs D. Bunny. You know, that's what Luffy is. He's Bugs D. Bunny. And I remember being a kid growing up and thinking that, and I was like, if I wanted to watch Tom and Jerry or Bugs Bunny, I'd watch. I want to see I want to see something more serious, you know. I was getting to that, even though Pokemon sometimes wasn't serious, but at times it was, you know. I remember early episodes of Pokemon; they could be quite dark. Digimon, same thing, serious shit going down. Most of the animes back then did have a bit of a serious element and cool characters. Luffy was this absolute dork with the wackiest power, with the power of Tom and Jerry going around. I'm surprised he didn't pull out a big mallet and whack Yosemite Sam on the head, you know, at times, you know. It got really it got really serious. Even when I was watching Arlong Park and they pulled his neck out of the water, blah, 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 and all that stuff. They stretched his neck to keep his head above water and stuff. I couldn't take it seriously. Now, looking back, it's different. But I think that people who dislike this chapter only recently, and I mean recent as in the last 5 to 7 years, got into One Piece. They blitzed through that stuff and they didn't experience it truly. They speed read it, they blitzed through it, they caught up with the serious shit, they caught up with Marineford, and they thought everything from now on is going to be serious. I remember before the Nami moment in Arlong Park, One Piece was absolutely goofy. Romance Dawn, the only serious moment was Shanks in the first chapter, and everything else was goofy up to that point. Felt absolutely goofy. So I think some people tend to forget that this started as such a comedic series of a battle shonen, one of the most comedic ever. And Oda's just sort of reminding us here. So that's my tangent. That's my boomer talk. You guys are going to call me a boomer, I know. It's like, oh, you think you're better than us because you've watched it the whole time. I just admitted I didn't. I'm saying that I've been experiencing it, though, and I've experienced a lot of stuff over the years, and One Piece hasn't changed, is all I'm saying. If you dislike this, I don't think you like One Piece overall very much. Or you like One Piece when it's serious, you don't like it at its core when it's old school One Piece. You don't really care for Luffy. You don't care for the rubber powers. That's just me. I could be wrong. I could just be an old guy. But that's my thoughts on it. What do you guys think? Definitely go check out Braga. Braga had a great reaction. I'm sure King of Lightning, Teching, everybody's going to have fun with this. And yeah, everyone, learn how to use one of these. Learn how to use a calendar. Please and thank you. All right, so we will talk to you guys next time. Like, comment, subscribe, and drink responsibly. Like I'm doing this week so far. Doing pretty good. Only had half a glass of wine with a lovely chicken dinner. That's the only drop I've had in the last 72 hours, or 48 hours, something like that. I've been doing pretty good so far, so we'll see what the weekend brings. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you back here next time for the next piece of One Piece. No break next week by the looks of it either. Gotta love it.